Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Do you want to see every video game? I mean, every one? Well, let's go. We are in 1981. It is October 1981. We last played Blasto for the TI-99 home computer, and we're going to go back and play Turbo one more time because when we last played it had no audio. Turns out Turbo, like some other games we played in the arcade, has it has discrete audio circuitry. And so I found out how we can get sound for the game, and to tell you the truth, it's still not exactly the same as it is in the arcades. I'm trying to get as close as I can to what it was like, but here we go. We'll take a look and hear the sound of Turbo because they did give us something. There we go, and we're playing now with some audio, but in the arcades, this thing is loud. This thing goes way louder than this. And I remember the bass as well for Turbo, so it's doing something, but still not quite as good as the actual arcade. At least better than Silence like it was last episode. But I want to give Turbo its due, since this is one of those games that is extremely influential for the arcade industry, another big push for Sega, just like Monaco GP, and this is one of those games that you want to keep playing longer and longer to see what's going to come next, because the graphics are some of the best, top-notch for the time. This is 1981 in October. And it's funny that it controls similar to other shooters for the time. Just go left, right, and then put your foot down on the pedal to go. But I guess that's you turning the steering wheel in the arcade. We're getting attacked by the ambulance right now. And there it goes. You can hear it blazing off in the distance. So every time we pass a car, it's giving us a beep to let us know we've passed a certain number. And it's essentially like we're dodging cars to drive down the track, but the scenery is what gets you. The sprite scaling. Oh, great! Now we got the ice. Oh yeah, that's really tricky on the ice. You slide around a lot. I am going high gear because I'm trying to get as fast as possible. Maybe too fast, just to see the sprites scale by. There we go. Gave us a bonus for it and everything. Awesome. All right, so another little taste at Turbo. Wanted to give it its due and have some audio because the silence just not good enough for Turbo, especially for a 5-star game in 1981. All right, so let's move past Blasto and let's see our next game. We are still in the arcades, and it's got a lot big shoes to fill. We've seen so many amazing games in the arcade, but this is Fantasy. Let's take a look at Fantasy and see what it's about. There's our advertisement flyer for Fantasy, distributed by Rockola. There we go, originally by SNK. Get set for the most fantastic chase in the history of video games. From the moment Sherry is kidnapped on your fantasy island, an incredible rescue attempt begins. Score points as you defeat enemies along the way. 10 scenes of peril, kidnaps, escapes, and romance. So it's like a movie, or they're trying to make it a movie-esque, I guess. But it's interesting they're doing 10 scenes, because that's pretty impressive to have 10 different ways to play the game. They're showing on the front of the advertisement flyer, pirates kidnap Sherry and you pursue to the pirate ship, and then it probably has other different modes as well. Excellent advertisement flyer, and there's our arcade cabinet. Pretty basic, but that's the Rockola version. I'd love to see the original SNK in Japan arcade cabinet. And there's our control panel. Looks like it is just movement. 8-way joystick, very nice. Yeah, controls is just moving around, no buttons. Kind of like we did with Frisky Tom. And there it is with the arcade marquee. Fantasy. All right, let's see what other versions we got. We have the Japanese, US, and World version. We're going to play the original because it is October 1981, and this is Fantasy, released in the arcades by SNK. And there we go, with the Rockola border. Let's see if we have other views for us for Fantasy. We do not. So we'll stick with the Rockola one for the first time around. Just check out the attract mode, and it looks like it's starting with a hot air balloon that we're supposed to land on the pirate ship. And then it goes, oh, nice, a scene inside the pirate ship where you're fighting pirates. I wonder if it's going to show all the scenes. Nice, and then this is probably the escape. Horizontally scrolling, very nice. With some donkeys. Oh, wow, and then we have a side view, 2D scrolling. Wow, a nice one scene, kind of like Donkey Kong. And that's probably scene 4 or 5. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, it's 10 specific different games you get to play. Or the farther you get, the more scenes you get to see. And we've seen a few games do this where they're trying to push the longer you play, the more you'll get to see or experience something instead of just going for a high score run. And we've seen that with Scramble. You play long enough in Scramble, you go level by level, you get to see more. Or same thing with Super Cobra, but those were horizontally scrolling games. This one's going for kind of like Donkey Kong. You know, you play one level of Donkey Kong, can you get far enough and see the next one? Yeah, since it was distributed worldwide by Rockola, and so it first showed up in Japan, but 10 scenes is pretty impressive. I'm letting the attract mode play because I want to get a look at all the scenes. It's giving a good showcase, though. It's giving us the different scenes and what you're expected to do, or I kind of get the idea. I don't know what they're trying to do on this scene, but it's auto-playing. We're in a tribal village, and it looks like there's Sherry tied to a post. Or Cherry. Hope we know our girlfriend's name before we rescue her. Yeah, looks like it's stuck on this one. Oh, okay, it was waiting until the time to go out. I wonder if that was the last scene. The attract modes are getting fancier and fancier as we move game to game, that's for sure. Okay, so let's put a coin in and see what fantasy is like. And push and start. Right off the bat, no intro music or ditty. But here we go, we're both on our island, and pirates steal the girl, and they're gone. Nice, they give us instructions. Oh my gosh, right off the bat gets shot out by the pirates. Let's try it again. Wow, yeah, so they treat the landing pad you're supposed to get on, but that is tricky. Wow. Yeah, difficult for the first scene. All right, let's try this again. Putting a coin in and push and start. That was my fault. It actually feels pretty good playing with an 8-way joystick. But I kind of see there's some slight pattern. Maybe it's doing 2 shots each. There we go. So we got on the landing pad. Now we go to the next scene. And again, all I'm doing is moving. Oh, that's cool. So you can break through the walls on the sides. You gotta dodge the cannon fire. Oh, this is pretty cool. It's like playing a large-scale adventure game. It's for 1981. All right, let's go again. Putting a coin in. Maybe we're starting to get to the coin gobblers. Oh, and if I put a coin in, if I continue, it takes over where I left off in the same scene. So we got cannons coming at the top and bottom. And let's see if we can sneak by this side. Got it. And they're kind of doing the Nintendo thing. Let's rescue the girl or save the girl. And now a bird randomly picks her up. And we go to the next scene, and now it's a horizontally scrolling. Now I have no gun, so it's not a shooter. I'm just dodging everything, including monkeys throwing coconuts at me. This is very ambitious, very large, especially for SNK. Oh, they got me. All I have is my movement. The 8-way joystick is all I can do to move up and down and around for everything. Gosh, yeah, they make it difficult, but here's the thing. It is making me want to continue to play, so I'm putting another coin in, and yes, I get to take over the same scene I left off. So it's not starting me over at the beginning. This is the first video game we've played in the arcades that's done this. They let us keep going where we left off. That's how you get more money in the arcade cabinet, for sure. And pretty cool that the monkey is also killing the birds for us. That's awesome. And And they're slightly changing up the music, which is awesome. For an arcade game, getting different music tracks. Got it. All right, there you go. Once you get to the end, now we go to the next scene, and now can I climb up? No, I can't climb up there. So many characters they designed for this. I don't think... Yeah, I don't have a jump. I'm used to Donkey Kong. The end. And again, if I put a coin in and I extend the play, yes, first example of an arcade game where we've seen the play extend right where we left off. Everything else up to this point, when we put a coin in, it stops and starts over from the beginning. I don't know how I can get past... Let's try... Okay, let's try this one, see if it works. Oh, the apples. The 8-way joystick is a nice touch because it feels a little bit better than other arcade games we played for the time. And the game's kind of leading me... Did I just fall? No way, they let me fall all the way down there? The game's kind of leading me to it. It has arrows telling me where to go. Because everything's a different way of playing. Alright, I'm watching the top now because they're going to drop one there. Now, I don't know how to get past this guy. Can I go now? No! I guess you gotta wait for him to go all the way to the left. This is crazy how many play modes they have for 1981. In fact, this one play mode that we're doing now is very similar to a game called Kangaroo that's going to be coming out soon, but it's not out yet. And we have, that is one of the game modes when Kangaroo, that's pretty much the whole game. I mean, Donkey Kong has several scenes, but this one's going one after another, so the more coins you put in, you can quickly get to another scene after that. I fell down again. Oh my gosh. Still feels good with the 8-way joystick. The control is nice. Graphics are simple, get the job done. Okay, here we go, trying to get... No, they did... It looks like Sherry's throwing those at me. Come on, Sherry, I'm trying to rescue you. Don't throw apples at me. They're coming from the top right. Alright, so going again. And they're making this pretty simple, too, with with just the control as the joystick, and that's it. There's no other buttons or commands. Very different experience compared to Defender. A little more complex. This one just keeps it simple. You jump in, you play, and you're expecting to have a good... You're gonna have a good time. Alright, just barely dodged that one. I don't know how to get past this guy, though. Alright, we're going. Go, 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 go. Yes, we did it! And if we start from the track mode, there's only one more scene left. Oh no, it's a different one. Okay, so now we're scrolling. It changed up again. Wow. And again, we're going to put a coin in, insert coins, yes, and you can extend your play and take over right where you left off. And they're doing the timer, so that when the timer ends, then it's going to start over from the beginning. And the change of music. Everyone now, name that tune. Oh, come on, I can't believe that. Yeah, that's really cool with the pop song played. That's this game takes the cake as far as music. Every scene is a different soundtrack. Well, soundtrack's kind of giving it a lot of credit, but every scene does play something different. I know this song is driving me crazy. It's just hard to tell with this microchip being played. It sounds slightly different. All right, we made it. We got to the end, so it actually saved us. So now, every time I move to the left and right, that's when my sword comes out. So you just have to make sure you move left and right to knock them out. And it looks like, is Sherry falling down into the fire? Let's see if I just take him out. Alright, I don't know if I have a goal. Oh, there we go. Yes, I gotta go this way. See, they're giving me the arrows to help me out. That's great. And then we take off in the helicopter. And we're back again. So it looks like the attract mode did not give us these scenes. These are even more scenes. Again, with a pop song remix in the background. And control's simple enough. Just move around and don't hit the helicopters. And you can see I'm traveling. It told me I had to go, I think, 3,000 kilometers. Oh my gosh, that was so close. Wow, I know, let's see what happens. It does. It takes over where I left off. So as long as you keep putting quarters in, you can beat this game. This is the first arcade game we've seen. Well, it may just loop itself at the end, but let's find out. We're putting another coin in and push and start. So yeah, it took over where I left off, 1,900 kilometers. So as long as you get a little bit of headway, you can keep playing over and over again and play, keep going to the end. Come on, let's go, let's go. It is so crazy doing a live show, talking about video games and playing them at the same time, especially when they get difficult, because then you start to get in the zone. And I want to be able to get past this and play. Oh my gosh, see, so crazy. It's doable though, it's doable. Fantasy will not get the best of me. We have all the money in the world now. There you go, just kept putting coins in, and now we're on to the next scene. And now we're vertically scrolling. Okay, wait a second. So this is one we have not seen. I do not know what I'm supposed to... Maybe just dodge the gun turret? That's it. You gotta get the gun turret to shoot the helicopters. That's pretty cool. So, first time experiencing this game, I have never seen this in North America. Is that it? 3 shots? Oh, I thought I got it. It showed me 3 helicopters. All right, let's try it again. Put another coin in. Extending play. And see what the next objective would be after that. It's not giving me any direction. Usually it gives me an arrow of what to do next. We did it, yes. Are we at the end? They're calculating power and points, and just like we did with other extended play arcade games, every time that you game over, you get no score. And so you could keep going on 1/4 if you were good enough. But the fact that this game goes from beginning to end, oh my gosh, is it really going to count down? Let's do a little fast forward. Oh, I see, I was supposed to go down to Sherry. Whoops. It didn't give me an arrow, I didn't know. And we did it! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very first arcade game that had an ending. We just saw an ending to a video game for the very first time on the channel, and there are video games that had endings before this, but we usually don't play games to the very end. This is the very first time we had an arcade game that allowed us to extend play, and it does have an ending that you can play. And now it's doing the loop, most likely getting harder in difficulty, but every single scene had a way to play music, and it was playing something different or a different track. Now, yeah, it is getting harder. It's not even going to let me go to the left side. I couldn't even get to the land. The landing pod wasn't even... The pad wasn't even on the screen. But every single scene, yes, it is very repetitive. It goes back and forth. But there you go. And we're now on the second loop of the arcade game. And there we go. We're going to stop it right there after a full loop. I'm amazed we got to an arcade game that had an ending. Everything else up to this point was just a score drive. So let's go ahead and give this one, for the time, I'm going to go 5 stars for an arcade game that mixes up 10 different scenes, 10 different ways you can play, very simple controls, but for an arcade experience, this is a great game for quarters for you to use. And the whole experience was, let's keep going. I want to keep seeing what was the next scene. And we could continue to play because everything else we've seen to this point, even if I had $1 million in coins, it wouldn't matter. You couldn't see the next thing unless you were good enough. But this one, you can just keep going and going. And we're going to see this formula used so much, especially in the 90s. So amazing that 1981 had a game for that. So that's Fantasy. Excellent showing in the arcade in 1981. Let's go on to our next game. After that, we come to Kicks. Get Your Kicks from Taito. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at the artwork for Kicks. Get Your Kicks. There we go. Pronounce Kicks. For all those video games that I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'm glad they tell us exactly how it's pronounced. There's the arcade cabinet for Kicks, a classic by Taito. Very cool artwork on the outside. And then we got a PCB going for a very geometric look on the control panel. Looks like we have just one button to move fast or move slow, and you'll get the hang of Kicks once you see it. There's our controls, pretty simple. Arcade marquee, very nice. Going for lots of different shapes, and you'll see why, because that's what Kicks is. A bunch of random shapes. Let's take a look at the manual for Kicks. So this is by Taito. So the first version we're going to be playing is going to be in Japan, and then it went all over the place. In the arcade, I've never seen this one in the wild. I've never seen this one in an actual arcade and played it, but there's so many copies and so many ports that have been done that at some point someone had to have played Kicks. All right, so let's see what we got for tons of information in the manual. We don't care about the game setup. Let's see. Game features. Nothing too new with game features. All right. Kicks. The object of the game is to claim as much screen as possible without getting in the path of the spinning kicks. Well, trademarked for some reason. While avoiding the traveling sparks. The game is set so a minimum prescribed area must be claimed before moving on to the next screen. The sparks are timed, which is indicated at the top video screen by a red timing line. When the ends of the upper red line meet, more sparks are released. Then the alarm sounds, these sparks turn into super sparks and become more aggressive and follow the marker on the outside border. If while claiming your area, your marker is caught in the spiral death trap, you will be destroyed since you cannot cross your own path. If you're hesitant and don't complete your area, a fuse will be ignited and destroy a marker. A slow draw and fast draw button are provided. If you claim your area using the slow draw, point values will be doubled. Now that explanation and introduction, it really doesn't do the game justice. It's a lot easier to play than that one. So it goes in next to inspection, installation, and so forth. So yeah, the rest is technical setup, which we see for most arcade manuals. So yeah, the home versions are the ones that I would say could be more popular, because to play this in the arcade, it feels like a puzzle game, honestly. So let's go to different versions. We have different revisions, larger and small ROMs, and then a Kicks 2 tournament version. Nice. We're going to check out the first one. It's October 1981. We are in the arcade playing Kicks by Taito. All right, here we go. We got all the artwork, including arcade marquee at the top. So Kicks is, you can see the attract mode is showing you how to draw kicks. You press fast or slow, and you claim areas by joining walls together with the sticks. So you just draw from the outside border inside. And then the more part you claim, there you go, claim 75% of the playfield, and you'll get a special bonus, and then move on to the next one. And there it is. Our opponents are the Kicks, or Windows Screensaver if you're more familiar with the 90s. And there we go, we got a fuse that follows behind us. As long as we're on the playfield, it happens, and it's drawing a little spiral. The spiral death trap. Because if you get caught in the middle, then boom, you blow up and you die like that. It shows different sparks around the outside. All right, so it looks like this one gives us our initials. The last few arcade games we've been playing have not been giving us the initials. All right, so let's put a coin in, and oh, yeah, let's give it more for the attract mode. It's showing us evading the kicks. which is kind of cool. It's given a three-dimensional look for the enemy, which it's actually just simple geometry programmed into the game, but has a really cool effect, especially for 81. And you can see the player is just moving around, avoiding kicks and the sparks, and then you just try to take away as much of the playfield as possible. Depending on how slow or fast you go is the color that's played for the capture. And bam. All right, let's do it. Let's put a quarter in and push and start. Here you go. First time playing kicks in the arcade. So we have a slow mode. Slow comes up as... There you go. Slow comes up as orange. Oh, we already got hit by the sparks. And fast goes for the other one. There's fast. So you get less points for fast. But if you can get a slow one in, let's see how far we can get with slow. Nice. You get more points for that. And you're trying to get a total of 75%. And it shows you at the top where you're at. And it looks like, yeah, we can't stay on the outside border and be chicken because then the sparks get us. But you can also play it this way. This was one of the cheater ways. Just play like a little bit at a time until you can... Oh, and Kick still got me on that one. You just keep building a little bit more and a little bit more. That's like one of the strategies you could pick. But they have this little time bomb to keep you from doing that. So we're at 64%, about to fill up the side. Still going here. And getting closer now. It's getting tricky. We're going to try slow, and got me. The kicks got us. Game over. Now, if I put a quarter in, most likely we're going to have the whole screen erased. And we don't continue where we left off. But fantasy's ahead of the game. All right, let's put a coin in and push and start. And yes, whole playfield wiped clean like we'd expect from every other release we've seen. Oh, that was a very dumb move. Just go right where the kicks is going to go. Why do they call it kicks? I don't know. They needed a name for... They had to name it something. All right, we're going for all the way to the top. And we'll just go fast to get as much as we can in. And to make it a little easier, let's try the slow mode here. See, I barely made it by the sparks on that one. He's coming back. Yeah, it's a little trickier because you have to push the button when you're deciding to make the little mark to come out. And then come back, and then just make quick ones. Hopefully before the spark shows up. Oh! Go! There we go. Nice. Alright, trying to finish it up now. Oh, yep, and they pinched this in. The sparks and the kicks. All right, so for the next one, let's zoom this in, check our video options, and go, oh, nice, we got this was the North American border, and because we're playing it for the first time in Japan, here's what Japan had around their arcade cabinet. Putting another quarter in and push and start for the Taito kicks. Going slow all the way over, and got it. And there is a timer at the very top, so you don't just waste your time. Yep, got it. An excellent arcade game, a premise that's never been done before, never thought of before. We haven't seen anything close to this. And it is more reminiscent of a puzzle game rather than a true arcade action game or Twitch game, especially with all the shooters out there. Oh, yep, move down. And the kicks itself is meant to be very random because you don't know if it's going to come. Yeah, there you go. You don't know if it's going to come at you or not as you move out from the border of the screen. All right, let's switch up it again. Let's see if we have another one. That's a really cool wide one. Let's do that one next. The Kicks Kickers. All right, put another quarter in and playing some more kicks. We are playing every video game. And the usual thing we like to do on the channel is compare it to everything else we've seen up to this point. Because if you see a review of people doing video games and they talk about the game itself, a lot of times they don't have the context of everything else that was out there at the time. And so this is so fresh. Compared to every other game we've seen, there is nothing else out there like this, even close to this. And I can think of the way that the Kicks is designed. They used it in for Windows whenever they made their screensaver. I'm trying to think of other examples of people that use this, because I've seen it before. It was very big in the 90s, this kind of graphic. Okay, the kicks is ganging up on me here. Let's try it a different way. There. Still got it. So as soon as it touches the line you draw, then you're out. So you're making the gamble of going out from the border or not, and deciding when to do that. Okay, and we also have in the bottom left corner over there some instructions of how to play. It's very nice the attract mode does that, and we've seen more attract modes give us info of how to play the game. All right, let's go again with another coin in, credits in, and push and start on kicks. So let's go slow mode around, see if we can get a little piece of that, and then a fast one. There we go, and let's do a slow one across the top, see if we make it. Nice, we got it. All right, let's go here. And being risky, oh man, that's close. So I wonder what algorithm they have for the kicks to know if it's supposed to go somewhere or not. And what fever dream did the developer come up with to make this idea? But I think that about every idea. If it's something brand new that's never been done before, where do they think of the idea? Because there's so much creativity you can have in video games, and this one's big. This is so creative. And it doesn't think like the shooter or the whole maze craze is just now getting started in arcade games, and so the shooter is starting to get it's going to be slowly phased out, and then the maze game is going to catch on as the big one. And we got it. So we got one round done. You can see what percentage we covered, and then it goes to the next round, and it goes crazy faster, more random than it was before. Oh man, yeah, it's ganging up on me. I'll go around the other side, try it a different way. You see how fast it moves across, so we can get all the way to the other side of the screen really quick. They start taking this formula and making it so you reveal a picture in the background, because this first version of kicks it's just colors, whether you move fast or slow, and that's it. But if you reveal a picture in the back, it adds a little something to kind of motivate you to play, to finish. This one doesn't have as much with just two different colors sets that you're playing. Yeah, that ganged up on me on that one. Yeah, I agree with you there. Tempest for sure. All right, so that was kicks. A very fresh idea, a very new idea. Yeah, that's another thing too. I remember when I would play, try to get the percentage to go as high as you can. Like, can I get this to 90% before I finish? Yeah, so really amazing idea, so creative for the time. Because of how fresh it is, and we haven't seen anything like this, we've been rating the arcade games just slightly higher, because at this point, arcade games are where everything starts first. And for kicks, this is going to be copied over and over and over again, lots of times, just like Pac-Man with the maze formula, or Space Invaders with the shooter formula. And the arcade game is usually the first one that implements it, and we're going to see lots of ports and copies and so forth. So because kicks is the very first one with the idea, and simple gameplay and how well it plays, we're going to go for 5 stars for this one. It's truly ingenious. It's fun to look at. It has a cool sound effect in the background, and it's addictive, very addictive. All right, so we're gonna go 5 stars for kicks, another big game that we're gonna see a lot of copies on. And after kicks, speaking of Tempest, oh man, this one is big. Another big game for the arcade. This would be our second or third color vector graphics game we've seen on the channel. Let's take a look at the artwork for Tempest. Yes, by Atari. Atari is punching back. There's a new dimension beyond the boundaries of imagination. Oh yeah, total fever dream for this. Look at the graphic at the top. At least maybe the artwork. But Atari has always been really big on artwork and design, and Tempest has it in spades. 2 different examples of the arcade cabinet, and there we go, back of the advertisement flyer. Nice. We have new operator information display. Special sequence on the self-test. Oh, nice. So the operator gets, instead of using just the dip switches in the back, they have a display on the screen. We also have adjustable bonus lives and game difficulty, which we've seen that before. Coins, different languages. Continuous fire button. You just hold that button down and Tempest fires. That's another big one. Yes, and there's a lot of developers that explain they had dreams, and in their dream is what they made into the reality of the video game. Kind of cool that that's what the medium can do. Video games can allow you to take something that you imagined or dreamed up and then turn it into something that is reality. They have a 2-game minimum available option, and then they have a new dimension of profit. Tempest getting to the set to take the industry by storm. Get set for action now. Contact your distributor. There's also a special demonstration mode. During free play, switches can be set to sales mode if one is on and switch 2 off. Continuous pressure on fire or one button allows the demonstrator to accelerate through 99 playfields, blasting down without having to kill the enemies. This allows contributors and operators to demonstrate all of the play levels. Nice. And there's the arcade cabinet. This is a sleek one. That's pretty cool. Artwork on the sides is excellent. Marquee, of course, excellent with the artwork. Control panel as well. But the design of the cabinet is unique. We haven't seen anything that slants down like this. Atari is pushing to try the newest, coolest stuff because they're still on top. Video games could be defined by Atari at this point. And there's our PCB and control panel with some cool Galaxy artwork there. Oh, that's true. For starting your level off, you get to pick your level in Tempest. And just thinking back how of all the other games we've played, nothing has allowed us to select the level we're going to start. Yeah, this is probably one of the first ones. So it looks like we have the Super Zapper, and this one uses the Atari track to twist left and right, or the paddle controls. There's another example of the paddle control with fire and Super Zapper. So it has the hold down, and it just keeps firing, or individual firing. And can we see they show the scoring enemies right here above my head, and then they have how to play and even hints on how to play Tempest. That's pretty cool. Did both of them have that? Yeah, both of them did. Nice. So controls are just using the dial to go left and right, and then fire or Super Zap. Super Zapper. Wait a second, Super Zapper? That sounds like the Nintendo Super Zapper. Oh, I see. No, the Super Zapper kills all enemies at once. It's like a atomic bomb on the screen. But the fire, you can just hold the fire button down and it continues to shoot every time. There you go. That's the artwork right there for Tempest. Oh gosh. Have your nightmares now. All right, really excited for this one. Here we go. Let's check out the manual for Tempest. And as usual, Atari has the coolest operator manuals. It really makes me want to start collecting arcade cabinets because of how amazing Atari spends on the time for the manual and the cabinet themselves. So there you go. Check it out. The artwork is amazing. Love it. Yeah, they're showing information about the cabinet. And then we move down even further. There we go. 1981. Blah, blah, blah. Legal mumbo jumbo. And then table of contents. As usual, Atari busts out the new features. What's new about this arcade cabinet compared to other ones? And even this, look at this. The introduction and setup procedure. They have this awesome artwork right there. It's great. Love it. All right, so let's go down to new features. Tempest has 5 new features. The Color XY monitor and game PCBs. Tempest is Atari's first Color XY game, and this is not the first for us. This is the second color vector-based game. Atari's XY game circuitry has been redesigned for a color display placed on a single PCB. Atari introduces Skill Set, 99 levels of play on 16 different playfields. Demonstration mode allows you to accelerate through all 98 levels of play. So you could play, I guess, show off to the people in the arcade and also just demonstrate that it has 98 different levels. There's also an encoder wheel. This new control has a compact, simplified design which makes servicing easy. Oh, that's for the operator itself. The cabinet design, yes, newly designed cabinet. Fluorescent light and speaker for the sound. And they go on next to game inspection, game installation. And after we do all the installation, I want to see about, self-test. They're going to talk about the different game modes, I'm sure, for Tempest. We have the option switch settings, bonus play feature. For a certain combination of coins inserted, this bonus feature is operable. Selection means you can choose to offer it or not. That's a cool feature. Different coin mechanisms for Tempest. I mean, Atari always tries to get something new and different. I'm glad we got these manuals to look at because this is kind of giving us the evolution of the arcade industry. Atari's usually the one on top, getting the newest, coolest stuff. They did get beat with a color vector graphics. That was Cinemaware, I believe. All right, so we have the game option settings. What about the game? Game price, yep, we know that. Moving on down to the next one. There we go. Gameplay. 1 or 2 player game with color XY or vector generator monitor. The new monitor with its 3 color guns and higher voltage has same technology that was used in Atari's black and white monitors, like in Asteroids. However, this new monitor displays dazzling color and unique visual effects in a spectacular 3-dimensional video display. It introduces the skill step, the operator information display, and demonstration mode. And it shows examples of those 3 different ones. And then it goes through the different modes that you can play in. Like, what does attract mode do? What does it show? And then the ready to play mode, and then when you're playing. The player-controlled yellow claw shoot moves through a 3-dimensional tube-like playfield. And this is the first time we've seen any game do this. The shooter rotates on the end of the tube that's nearest to the player. Enemies land on the end of the tube that's furthest away from the player to climb toward and attack the shooter. The shooter fires down the tube at the approaching enemies. When a player kills all the enemies, he blasts through the tube, flies through space, lands on a new tube-like playfield, and fights the enemies on that playfield. And then they get point score. Yep, shows you all the different playfields. And actually, I need to go back here because the ready-to-play mode shows you how, yes, you get to pick the difficulty and the level. So you get to choose, you can do level 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. So it's almost like a choose your difficulty arcade game and choose the level you get to start at. Another first for video games here on Chronologically Gaming. And there you go, breaks down the different enemies in the game and what they do. That's awesome. See, this is the kind of stuff that when you play an arcade game, you just kind of go with it. You don't really break down how the enemies work. But for someone that grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System, wanting to read the manuals and know what the enemies are going to do before I get to them, this would have been so helpful. So there's examples of the enemies and the points for them. And then it shows the different hints, which is available on the arcade control panel. Work their way through the levels and become familiar with the gameplay. And then, of course, probably start easy because you can pick the difficulty you want. And then we have the high score mode, and then we go into maintenance and repair. We're not going to repair any Tempest here on Chronologically Gaming. For additional versions, we have quite a bit. Looks like we got Vortex, a Tempest prototype, and then we got different revisions on different hardware. We're playing the first one. It's October 1981, and we're playing Tempest in the arcade by Atari. So there we go. Right off the bat, we got a small example right down here of the control panel, the fire and super zapper, and then 1 or 2 players. And there you go. The graphics are the big one. Oh, it's even showing us in the attract mode. You got to make sure you avoid the spikes whenever you warp to the next level. And the high scores, you can put your initials in. You get a bonus for every 20,000, at least on this mode, but that can always be changed. I'm really enjoying how the attract mode's getting better and better. If you've ever been to the arcades or remember back when you saw these games in the arcade, a lot of times you weren't there watching the game while you were playing yourself, because the game's playing right now. I haven't put any coins in, and they have these attract modes, and they're getting more and more impressive. And as time goes on, they're going to show more about the game, how to play the game, and they get more fantastic. So this is really cool seeing Tempest for the first time, because this one's going to get ported a lot. Look at that intro with all the colors. So cool. This is another experience that you can't have at home. The vector-based graphics, at least until next year when the Vectrex comes out. Everything else is raster graphics. All right, let's put a coin in and play some Tempest. And push and start. There we go. We get to select 1 through, it looks like 11 different ones. All right, let's go for the first one. All right, so here we go. Right off the bat, I can move all the way around the screen. For shooting, I have 1 button for shoot, and then there's my super zapper that destroys everything on the screen. Whenever you play this, it rolls you around the grid left and right because you're using one of the paddle controls, which was a nice touch because it lets you move around pretty quick to get the enemies. Yeah, we're doing really good right now, and you can see it's moving level by level, one at a time, giving you a really big incentive of how far can you go, and to see another level, to see the next one. Oh, they got me. They grabbed me, they pulled me down. People have called this the tunnel shooter, but it's the first time we've seen this kind of gameplay. So amazing, looks great, plays great, and it's very, very fast-paced. It's also very difficult to narrate and talk about the game and its history while playing because it's quick. It's very, very fast. Oh, there we go. Avoid them. Get out of the way. So those green spikes as you fly down, if you hit one of them, then you're going to die. So you have to, as you get warped to the next level, you got to change up where you are on the map. Oh, they got me. Let's see, is it going to warp me next? Oh, yeah, we got one more coming up here. Go, 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 go. Oh, yeah, it's so intense, so fast. It's awesome. Oh, it's still going. What level is this? 5? 5's tricky. All right, stay right there. No, I wiggled it too far. That is awesome. All right, so you move the knob around, you pick your letter that you want, and let's see if we can get the right one. Of course, we messed up one. I'll be CIH. All right, let's switch up the view for Tempest and zoom it in just a little bit. We got some artwork around the outside, and then, oh, that's cool. It really makes it small, though. This would be just someone for fun doing the artwork, mixing the cabinet and the arcade marquee at the same time. But we're going to zoom this in all the way to, yeah, we're going to do aspect ratio. There we go. All right, here we go. Zoomed in a little bit more so you can see the actual game play itself. So putting a coin in and going again with Tempest. Starting this time at level 3. There we go. And thanks for the reminder. A lot of times you're so focused on just the shooting key, you forget, oh yeah, that's right, we got a kill all button. There we go, looking good. It's very hard to recreate the paddle controls, but I gotta tell you, the precision is amazing. So, if you ever get a chance to play Tempest in the arcades, it's so different than all the other ports. Unless you play something that has a paddle control. And everyone knows that it played Breakout for the Atari home console. Let's see if we can knock these guys out. Yeah, get out of here. There we go. How different it is playing a Breakout on ports or different consoles that don't have a paddle control. It just doesn't feel smooth enough. Oh, the spikes got me. Let's try it again. Wow, it's tricky. You got to keep it right on the nose before you go. Oh, the explosion though. So many pixels, so cool. Love it. Let's see if we can get it done this time. CH, missed it again. CHS. All right, let's go again with Tempest. Put another coin in and push and start. This time, let's go right to level 5. Let's crank it up. The game adds new, different ways to play, new enemies, and you can see that every level is a different geometric shape. And it kind of switches up what you can see or not see. So even though I'm moving left and right across the bottom here, there's a whole nother plane that's kind of obscured that adds difficulty to the game. There we go. Oh man, that's so tricky to do. Is that it? We're already done? I already died that fast? Wow. Amazing. So this was another classic Golden Age arcade game. So thrilled to show everybody Tempest. And from everything else we've seen for the time, there's only one other graphic game that can stand up to this that we've seen in the arcades off the top of my head. And everything else we've seen up to this point, it's still technically a shooter, but it's doing it from a different perspective in a different way. It's also designed artwork-wise and gameplay-wise to be something new and unique. And for that, we're going to go again with a 5-star rating because everything we've seen up to this point in 1981, this one's top of the top. One of the best games you could play in 1981. All right, so after Tempest, whatever could be next? All right, our next game is a Game & Watch game, the newest Nintendo Game & Watch, and this is Mickey Mouse from their widescreen line of Game & Watch games. All right, so here we go. This is the front of the box for Mickey Mouse, the very first time we've ever seen Mickey Mouse in a video game. It's surprising that Nintendo is the one pushing licensed games. We don't see very many of them right now. A lot of it's unique property, unique IPs or ideas. And Nintendo brought us Popeye on the Game & Watch. Now they're giving us Mickey Mouse on the Game & Watch. First time we ever saw Popeye, first time we ever saw Mickey Mouse in a video game. There is a ton of licensed video games. And this one I wouldn't really fault it. It's just, cool seeing Mickey Mouse in the palm of your hand. There's the front of the box for Mickey Mouse for the Nintendo Game & Watch. Very nice. And this first one's going to be the Japanese release. So we're going to go for, it's the widescreen version, but it's October 9th, 1981. And there you go. This is Mickey Mouse in the palm of your hand. So from the chat, this one was released worldwide, but the very first one, because Mickey Mouse was already global at this point. Same thing with Popeye. And so we're going to go ahead and push game A. And then you can see I have a button on the left and right to move Mickey Mouse up and down, and then that same one on the other side. And it's chickens laying eggs, and it looks like I'm just moving the baskets from left and right, up and down. So it's 4 different buttons for this one. Using the same widescreen formula. Graphics are the same we've seen from Nintendo Game & Watch, but oh, you got to time it. There you go. It's going to get crazy hectic with eggs coming everywhere. And you just want to keep the game going. Like we've seen with the other Game & Watches. Lots of fun. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The very, very first Mickey Mouse video game on Chronologically Gaming. What did they have Mickey Mouse doing for his first video game? Playing with Pluto? Using a magic wand? Being a wizard? No, he was collecting eggs by chickens. That was Mickey Mouse's very first video game. Yeah, this one's great. It's the same formula we've seen with Nintendo Game & Watch, just adding complexity with 4 different options to choose from. We got one down. And I love the animations they do on the side. And then we got Minnie for no good reason. Minnie's yelling out the window, "Mickey, don't break the eggs! Minnie, get over here and help me! They're all falling!" I mean, huh? Oh boy! Or, oh no. See, my terrible Mickey Mouse impression is what broke the egg. Oh man, you hear the sound? I remember that sound. That's classic. The Nintendo Game & Watch sound of the speed up. Wow. That brings back memories of hearing it going faster and faster and faster. Nope. Go. Oh, there it is. And then game B, most likely is going to be the same with a slightly harder formula. So let's push game B. Going game B with Mickey Mouse for the Nintendo Game & Watch. Now we're getting a really good context of the landscape by Nintendo, because this is right after Donkey Kong. They're releasing Popeye and then Mickey Mouse for the Game & Watch. So handheld, they're doing very well, able to acquire licenses, because these are selling like hotcakes for handheld systems. They're not as expensive. That's the idea. Gunpei Yokoi wanted this to be cheap and very simple. Go for it. There we go. Yeah, this is the kind of game that is the perfect way to waste time. Oh, and break some eggs. It's got that coordination that you would need, and just quick reflexes, thinking of what's going to be next. What? And because it's only single frames of Mickey Mouse, this actually works really well. When you see Mickey Mouse, you see as I move him around, it works great, especially for the Game & Watch. All right, that is very nice. Same as Popeye, top tier. One of the best handhelds you could have for the time. Even though it didn't have interchangeable cartridges, it still works great for a handheld, especially in 1981. So for that one, I really don't want to say it's like better or worse than like Chef or one of the other games that doesn't have a licensed property. We're still going to go better than average, definitely. We're going to go 4 stars for Mickey Mouse. I wouldn't push it higher just because it's the same similar formula, and it's not doing anything to really push the industry or handhelds forward as something bigger or better. It's still excellent, though. 4 stars for sure. All right, so that one is the latest Nintendo Game & Watch, and with that, we're going to go ahead and put our video game playing on pause, but there's always more video games. We're going to have more to play and continue on, because there's always going to be a princess to save, or a Game & Watch to put in our hand, or a new arcade game that's going to floor us. Until then, we will catch you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if you missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.